Hi again, and welcome back to The Savvy Psychologist. I'm your host, Dr. Ellen Hendrickson, and every week I'll help you meet life's challenges with evidence-based research, a sympathetic ear, and zero judgment. Besides Glenn Close, the original bunny boiler in Fatal Attraction, other Hollywood portrayals of borderline personality disorder, or BPD, have included, among others, Kristen Wiig in Welcome to Me and Evan Rachel Wood in 13. But each portrayal is only one view, and with 5 of 9 symptoms required for diagnosis, there are dozens of ways to have BPD. Plus, put a Hollywood filter on any psychological disorder, and you'll almost always end up with the Funhouse mirror version. So, Hollywood aside, what exactly is, quote, borderline about BPD, besides perhaps our understanding and portrayals? This week, we'll clear the air with 9 signs of borderline personality disorder. Now, BPD was originally thought to be, quote, on the border of a psychotic disorder, like schizophrenia, and a mood disorder, like depression. And while BPD is now an established disorder in its own right, the name has stuck for the millions of Americans it affects. So, if it's not psychosis and it's not depression, what is it? Any personality disorder, by definition, is a lens through which you see the world. It's an ingrained way of thinking and feeling about yourself, about other people, and it affects all domains of life: work, school, friends, relationships. And the hallmark for BPD is instability. Instability in relationships, identity, and emotion. In other words, its stability lies in its instability. So what exactly does that look like? Well, look for these 9 signs. Sign number 1 is fear of abandonment. Imagine being afraid you'll be dropped by your partner or friends at any moment. It feels so real, and because the idea of being rejected and left is so terrifying, it makes you a little desperate. Little things, like your partner coming home later than expected, or a friend rescheduling your coffee date, can make you fly into a jealous rage, stalk them on social media, or cling like a toddler wrapped to mom's leg on the first day of preschool. You're convinced they're leaving you, even when they reassure you, at first patiently, then not so patiently, that they're not. Ironically, all the freaking out does exactly the opposite of what you're hoping for. It sends the people you love running for cover and away from you. Sign number 2 is unstable relationships. Your romantic relationships, friendships, and even family life are intense, to say the least. You love them, you hate them, you need them, they're dead to you. You crave a hug, but warn, don't touch me. You fall in love quickly and wholly, but things do a 180 just as quickly. It's whiplash in emotional form. Your life has more passion and conflict than a telenovela, and you can sum it up with the phrase, I hate you, don't leave me. Which, incidentally, is not only an impressively perceptive Demi Lovato song, but a useful book about BPD, and you can find a link to both in the show notes. Sign number 3, feeling unsure of who you are. Imagine the adolescent search for identity boiled down into a bouillon cube of angst. You shop around, trying out different jobs, different social scenes, religions, lifestyles, sexual identities, groups of friends, and sometimes you feel pretty good, but that can quickly flip to hating yourself or even feeling non-existent. Sign number 4, I make bad choices. Especially when you're angry, sad, or frustrated, you may find yourself in situations you later regret. Spending sprees, epic food binges, shoplifting, drunken benders, sleeping with strangers or toxic exes, and it's a welcome distraction from your pain. But after the dust settles, you're left feeling crazy, regretful, and out of control. Sign number 5, maxed out mood swings. Your emotions are both intense and fragile. It's hard to break out of feeling sad, angry, or irritable, but you seem to flip from feeling fine to feeling horrible like a light switch. People may comment that the intensity of your reactions doesn't seem to match the situation at hand. And to make matters worse, while others may be able to let problems and hassles slide off their backs, somehow your baggage sticks like glue. Sign number 6, anger. Your temper is hot, your fuse is short, and your anger is explosive. Plus, it's often stronger than the situation warrants. You pick fights, yell, throw dishes, or even throw a punch. But you don't spare yourself either. You rage at yourself more than anyone else. Sign number 7, emptiness. You often feel empty inside, like you have no emotions at all. You feel nothing. There's a hole inside you that nothing can fill, which may lead to sign number 8, which is self-harm. Sometimes you hurt yourself. You cut or burn yourself and find the pain to be a relief. You'd rather feel something, even pain, than nothing at all. Or you'd rather feel physical pain, which at least you can control, than the emotional pain. Sometimes you might threaten to kill yourself to see if anyone cares, or as the classic cry for help. You might make suicidal-ish gestures like collecting pills. You may even try to kill yourself, but often without an intent to die. Rather, you simply want to end this pain and emptiness. And unfortunately, sometimes it works. The suicide rate among folks with BPD is 50 times higher than the general population. Sign number 9, small departures from reality. When you're stressed, you may feel numb or dreamlike, like your life is a movie, or that this isn't really real. And in addition, you may get a little paranoid, feeling like others are out to get you. So that's a lot. So what to do about all this? Luckily, there is dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT, the go-to treatment for borderline personality disorder. Within this, there are 4 skills, and 2 of them fall in the change camp. First, there's emotion regulation, otherwise known as being able to work with your emotions rather than just letting them break over you like a wave. Second, there's what's called interpersonal effectiveness, or how to ask for what you want, as well as how to say no while leaving your relationships intact. The other 2 skills fall in the acceptance camp. The third is mindfulness, so observing and describing the present moment without trying to change it. And the last is distress tolerance, building up your ability to endure emotion that otherwise might have sent you into a tailspin. And according to the New England Journal of Medicine, effective DBT can reduce hospitalizations by as much as 90% and lead to relapse rates as low as 15%. Indeed, whoever said you can't change your personality didn't know about DBT. Now, if you saw yourself in today's episode, have hope. Change is possible. Seek out treatment with an experienced DBT provider. And if you're worried about affording therapy, don't be afraid to see a student. He or she will be supervised by a licensed provider, which is like getting 2 brains in one. And together, they can help you build, as DBT asks you to envision, a life worth living. For even more savvy, get every Savvy Psychologist episode delivered straight to your inbox by signing up for the Savvy Psychologist newsletter at quickanddirtytips.com/newsletters, or you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or Stitcher, listen on Spotify, or like on Facebook, where you'll find links to lots of archived episodes no longer available on iTunes. And I'll post a link to that book I mentioned on the Facebook page as well. As always, thank you so much for listening. I'm Dr. Ellen Hendrickson, and of course, the Savvy Psychologist is strictly for informational purposes and doesn't substitute for mental health care from a licensed professional. I will see you back next week for a happier, healthier mind.